My daughter's having an affair with the married neighbor. I told her she needs to move out of my house. Original post. Last week, I caught my daughter leaving our neighbor's house early in the morning. I was getting a drink around 3 a.m. and watched her leave their house, and she snuck across the yard and went through our basement door. Our neighbor is married and probably 30. I assume his wife was gone for the night as her car wasn't there. The next morning, I went down to my daughter's room and confronted her. At first, she denied it, but she eventually said that she has been sleeping with him for a couple months. I lost it at that point and yelled at her, telling her he is married and she is helping to ruin a marriage. I told her that she needs to tell the wife or she needs to move out. She is clearly upset and thinks I'm overreacting. My wife is also thinking I'm going too far. I get that the neighbor is the main issue, but I'm really disappointed in my daughter. She knows his wife and has even babysat for them. Is telling her to confess or move out too far? Wow, thank you all for responding. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to more of you. Some context I failed to put in here. My wife is very upset. She isn't siding with the affair. In fact, she was cheated on by an ex. She understands this better than I do. I think that is a big part of why I'm so angry. My wife is also a better person than I am. She is the only reason I'm the man I am today. I have too much respect to let people even anonymously insinuate that she is a problem here. So I should have done a better job in explaining her side. Any comments saying anything bad about my wife will be met with a big F you. Writing all this out and reading comments has been incredibly helpful. I haven't changed my mind, but it's made me think about the situation more, especially looking at the future and my relationship with my daughter. I just sent a text to my daughter and apologized for my anger and asked her to go get a drink with me tonight and talk. I told her, I'm sorry I didn't ask her how she is feeling. I need to get my composure back before my next work call here in a few minutes, but we'll continue to read and reply to comments as I have time today. Edit to just going to put thoughts here instead of commenting. Wow, so many comments. While yes, I may be seeming to backtrack a bit with reaching out to my daughter, I don't see how that is bad. She is my daughter and I love her so much. For those who think she would stop talking to us if we kicked her out, I raised her to be independent and accept the consequences for her actions. It's hard to explain our relationship, but I know she wouldn't stop talking to us if we did force her to move. She also would figure it out as she is a smart woman. She would love out of our house, not our life. I'm always her dad. On that note, this is the dad writing, not the mom, as some of you have thought. Also, not worried about violence from the neighbor's wife. Unfortunately, she is a very sweet woman, which makes everything worse. But I wouldn't put my daughter in danger. I confirmed my daughter hasn't told the husband. We know I will be watching his behavior as I'm not sure how he will react. Last thing, as I find it funny, I was drinking water, not alcohol, when I saw her. I woke up and went to the kitchen and saw her from the window, but I appreciate the links to AA. I really should have made my original post longer. Sorry for all the edits. I'll update after I talk with my daughter. Now for the update. Sorry I didn't update this last night. Forgot there were basketball games on and fell asleep watching. I went out for drinks with my daughter. It was awkward at first. We just talked about work and her schooling for a while. It felt nice to just talk about normal things for a bit. At some point, she just asked me if I was proud of her. I almost broke down when she asked that. I said, yes, I am proud of her. Though I'm not proud of the mistake that you made, I talked a bit why what she did made me so upset, but that nothing she could ever do would make me love her less. She told me more about how she got involved with the neighbor. I won't share too much. It's nothing terrible, like many of you are assuming. They knew each other as they had her babysit their baby over the last year. One night she was out with friends and ran into her husband at the bar. That's when things progressed and the affair started. During this same time, she was going through a breakup that was rough. I knew she was going through that, but didn't realize how bad it was. Told her that she is an adult and responsible for her own actions, that I don't want her in my house doing things like this. We talked about telling the wife. My daughter is scared to tell her. She isn't sure how the husband will react once the affair is out. I'm going to go with her tomorrow while the husband is at work and tell her together. My daughter also wants to move out. She said it's something she had been thinking about before, and now she said it would be awkward with this being in the open. She started to cry about how she didn't realize the damage she was doing, knowing that she's the other woman and helped to break or at least hurt this marriage. I talked about her mom and her past and what that was done to her. That's about it. We cried together, had tough discussions. Tomorrow, we will let the wife know, and I'll help my daughter move to my sister's place for a while. I told her things will probably get worse before they get better. Sorry, too. Friend 26, male, said horrible things about me. 23, female. Original. My friend Kevin recently had to move out of a house plus his family. We're renting. I've known him since I was about 13, and we've kept up the friendship, or what I thought was a friendship, ever since then. I've helped Kevin out numerous times, from picking up groceries for him when he was out of a job and didn't have money to taking him back and forth to work for months at a time. I thought he was my friend, and friends help each other. So about 2 months ago, his mom, he does indeed still live at home with his mother, his sister, his friends, and 3 other people who aren't related to him, lost her job, and they were no longer able to make rent. He's currently unemployed and asked if I had anywhere for him to stay and put some of his things. Stupidly, I agreed. I told him he'd only be able to stay certain days because I wasn't comfortable with him being there when I wasn't, and I also need time by myself. So it averaged out that he stays about 3 days a week, give or take a day or two if I say it's okay. Anyway, he stayed this last Friday, and everything went fine. He had someone pick him up the next morning to go job hunting and left. Edited to point out he wasn't really job hunting. He was out with his friend picking up pills and Molly to sell on the side. This is the major reason I want him out of my house. I could overlook the shit talking in order to make things go smoothly, but I absolutely will not tolerate being friends with someone who sells drugs. Been there, done that. He left his phone. At first, I wasn't snooping. We both have the exact same phone, and it was laying on my computer desk, where mine usually is anyway. And I heard it vibrate. Obviously, I picked it up thinking it was mine and that someone texted me, but I was wrong. Display opens up to a conversation he's having with one of his friends, and it's about me. I know that I shouldn't have read it, and I wouldn't have had the first text I saw said, "So, are you still at that bitch's house?" Oh, bitch meaning me. I was hurt. Felt sick to my stomach and stupidly continued to read the rest of the conversation. This guy has said horrible things about me. He accused me of lying on certain days when I said I was busy, and said that I lied about my father having cancer. He does in fact have cancer, and it's bad. Not sure how much longer he has left to see him and help my mother care for him. Called me a cunt numerous times, said I was two-faced, that I was a shitty friend, talked shit about my boyfriend, etc. One text was like, the only thing that would make this deal any better is if she started fucking and sucking me. But that's not gonna happen because she's so crawled up her boyfriend's ass. It broke my heart because I really thought I was helping him out. And now I see it was pretty much just taking advantage of me. So now I'm stuck. He's staying at a friend's house right now, and that friend came and picked up his phone on Saturday. So I didn't see Kevin. I don't know what to do. Save for about 4 outfits. I currently have all of his clothes in my possession. I also have some of his furniture, well, his mom's, in my storage unit because they're living with family members. And I currently walk around with my mom, but I don't want to bring anything I've read up. I understand that was a violation of his privacy, but it doesn't change the fact he said all of those things and that I know he said them. This isn't a, oops, I accidentally unlocked my boyfriend's phone and read every text or Facebook conversation since the beginning of time thing. I had no intention of looking at his phone. I honestly thought it was mine until I saw that text. I should have stopped, but I'm glad I didn't, because not only do I know what he's said, I also know about the drugs. So right now, how do I explain to him that he needs to get his things and find somewhere else to stay without it being a problem? I don't want to make Kevin mad because I know what he's capable of when he doesn't like someone. And it looks as if he doesn't like me right now anyway. So I really don't want him coming here and destroying my house or something. Kind of at a loss here. It's not a roommate situation, so I don't really have to give him a time frame or anything of when he needs to leave. But at the same time, I don't want to be a bitch about it and tell him to just come get his shit and never speak to me. I was thinking of telling him that one of my relatives or something is coming down and needs to use my spare bedroom, but that doesn't solve the issue of his furniture still being in my storage unit. Reddit, you got any ideas? Now for the Comes for Rating Me update. It is Sprinkle. Here is what you do. You get a real friend to move all his shit out of your storage unit, and you take his clothes and put them in the same pile. And then you tell Kevin he can go pick up his pile of shit and to not contact you. This is not a friend. This is an asshole who is taking advantage of you. You owe him nothing. The point of you finding out he is talking shit about you is completely moot. What he said was so unbelievably disrespectful. It is your home and your happiness. You just kick his ass to the curb. Seriously. It's that easy. It's not that easy, though. I'm seriously worried if I just tell him, get the fuck out, don't contact me, here's where your stuff is. He'll go batshit and try to break into my house. For anonymity's sake, I'm not going to do into a detailed description of why I think that, save for that he's done it before when he was younger. I had no knowledge of that before reading the texts, but I know that now too, which is why I'm worried about that. I do have a home security system, but I'd rather avoid that at all costs. Titty Sprinkle, honestly, if you are legitimately afraid something like that would happen, then tell the police what is going on and ask them to add some patrol to the area. You can't live in fear of a bully. I understand it's scary, but if he feels he can bully you, which I have a strong suspicion he already has, then he will continue to scare you to get his way. If you have a home security system and you change the locks, you will be just fine. You need to make this a clean break, and the only way to do that is to box up his stuff, drop it off, and ignore him. You owe him nothing. Oh, he doesn't have a key and has never been in possession of my keys. There's only 2 sets anyway, mine and my boyfriend. So is getting locks changed mandatory? Only curious about this because it's set up with my security system. I can opt in to receive an email/text anytime my door is locked or unlocked. So I'm not sure if messing with the locks would fuck with that too. Now for the update. I packed up all of his clothes and the rest of the stuff he had here and waited till my boyfriend got off of work. When he got here, I called Kevin and told him to come get his stuff, that he couldn't stay here anymore, then hung up. He started texting me. This is pretty much the conversation. Kevin, what the F? You know I don't have anywhere to stay tonight. What the F am I supposed to do now? Me, I don't know, maybe get a decent job and keep it so you actually have somewhere to stay instead of couch surfing. Kevin, what the F is that supposed to mean? I didn't think you gave a shit how long I stayed. You have a spare bedroom. It's not like it matters. What? Me. Yes, I have a spare bedroom, meaning mine. The spare bedroom in my house where I went to college, got a decent job, and saved up money to afford buying. I didn't buy it so my friends could crash in it and live here rent free. So, meaning my friends, like in my house, I didn't buy it so my friends could crash in it and live fine, be like that. That's a really fucked up and bitchy thing to do. I'll have my shit in a few hours. I'm busy right now. Oh, it ends up being around 1 a.m. and I still haven't heard from him, and my boyfriend is getting pissed. Boyfriend calls him up and says, look, you have 15 minutes to get here and get your stuff, or it's going out by the road. Get another text from Kevin calling my boyfriend a douche and that I do whatever my boyfriend says. And then that's why you're kicking me out. You don't give a shit. You're doing it because Josh told you to. Obviously, that isn't true. My boyfriend doesn't care who stays at my house, and he's never been mean or anything to Kevin. I don't text him back, and about 20 minutes later, Kevin and 2 of his friends show up. They all get out of the car and start to come in, and my boyfriend just blocks the doorway and tells them that they're not coming in and that his stuff is already packed up. Kevin comes in, grabs his laundry basket of clothes and starts handing off his stuff to the guys from the doorway. Before Kevin leaves, he turns around to me and is like, this is really fucking bullshit. I thought we were friends. I just said, so did I, and shut the door. He hasn't tried to text me or call me anymore, but his mom did. She was nice and just asked if I had some time in the next few weeks, if I could meet her at my storage unit to get the rest of her things. I have no problem with his mom, and I'm certainly not going to keep her away from her furniture, but I have no plans at all to talk to Kevin. Story 3. Am I the asshole for calling the police on my sister? I am a 34 female single mother of 3 girls, 1382, let my sister 31 female move in with me 2 months ago, and she stole from me. And I am shaking as I type this up. I can't figure out what to do with her son, who's 3, because I know how much I've been there before. There are a lot of, being her big sister, I offered her a place to stay while she figured things out. Being her big sister, I offered her a place to stay while she figured things out. Being a single mother with no one to turn to, sometimes I felt sorry for her, so I figured I could help her out in this rough patch. I even started helping with daycare fees for her son, who's 3. because I know how tough it can be to make ends meet. Things started out okay, but I started noticing small red flags. And they were first, Sarah's boyfriend, who I'd only met 3 times, began coming over almost every day while I was at work. I didn't love it, but I thought they both needed support, so I let it slide. I did let Sarah know that I didn't want him coming to my house every day, and he stopped coming for a while. Then one day he just popped back up. It wasn't long before I noticed other strange things happening. At first I thought I was tripping, like little stuff would be moved in my bedroom or my bathroom would have stuff missing. At first I thought it was my daughters, but the stuff that was touched or missing, they either don't use or have their own. And so without telling anyone, I put a camera in my room. I saw Sarah going into my room when I was at work. I confronted her and told her, without telling her no about the camera in my room, I told her I knew she was going in my room and she did it again. She half-assed apologized and we moved on. Well, yesterday when I got home, I noticed my closet door slightly opened. I knew something was off because I never leave my closet door open. As I was looking through my closet door open, I had been saving up about $2,500 for Christmas gifts for my kids in the handbag. It wasn't in an obvious spot either. You would literally have to dig under about 7 other handbags to get to that one. My heart was in my ass because 1, my money is missing, and 2, that is the money for my kids' Christmas. And 3, my sister was nowhere to be found. I knew right then and there Sarah took it. I immediately called Sarah, but she wouldn't answer. I checked security cameras in my room and saw Sarah, thieving ass, in my room going through my closet. About 5 minutes later, her boyfriend, let's call him Ryan, came into my room too. They had to have picked the lock because I made sure my room was locked before I went to work this morning. Spent 45 minutes in my room going through all my stuff, trying to put it back like I was devastated. I let her move in with my rent-free and bill-free, and this is how she repays me. About 2 hours after I got home, Sarah and Ryan showed back up. I confronted her immediately. At first, she flat out lied and denied it, claiming I was mistaken or that I had misplaced the money. But I didn't back down. I told her I had the entire thing on camera, including her and her boyfriend going through my things. She was caught red-handed. I told her she had until the end of the day to return the money or I'd be pressing charges. She started freaking out, saying I was being unreasonable. I really wanted to put my hands on her, but I have too much to lose. She even tried to drag our dad and her mom into the situation, calling them to intervene on her behalf, but I wasn't having it. I told them both to stay out of it, that I was handling it my way, and they had no right to defend her when she was clearly in the wrong. And if they want to defend her, they can give me the $2,500 back. That shut them right on up. I also told them they didn't have the right to say anything to me about this because they were willing to tell her and their grandchild to sleep outside because they are not ready to have a toddler around them right now. By 8 p.m., she still hadn't given me the money back, and I had no choice but to call the police. I filed a report and gave them the footage, and by the time the police got there, Sarah and her Ryan had jumped in his car and left. They're both on the run now, and no one knows where they are. I'm sure she's trying to hide, but I have no idea if they'll even come back or if I'll get my money back. I'm still in shock. I've always tried to help her, and this is how she repays me. I can never trust her again. And right now, I don't even know if I want her in my life anymore. It's one thing to make mistakes, but to steal from family when I've been helping you, it feels like a betrayal on a whole new level. So here I am, dealing with the aftermath, and I'm wondering, should I have handled this differently? I really wanted to hurt her, and the only reason I didn't was because of my daughters. Even though they are not with me, I still don't want to miss them and my future. I got a call from one of my cousins, and she was telling me that she was on my side, but she also told me that my dad and his wife called her mom trying to talk junk about me, and my auntie shut it down. She apparently told my dad that he and his wife created the Mr. My Sister Is because they never said no and gave her any and everything she wanted. I love my aunt for sticking up for me. I'm just trying to process everything, and honestly, I'm struggling to figure out what comes next. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for calling the police on my sister?